Whether you're looking for answers to specific life questions or seeking to become the best version of you possible, welcome to the Mental Breakdown and Psych Reg podcast, where we offer insight, information, and strategies based upon research and years of practice as clinical psychologists. So sit back, have a listen, and get connected with our hosts, Dr. Berney Wilkinson and Dr. Richard Marshall. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a set of... I'm going to start over.
No, I'm smiling because you think that there would be nothing new to say about ADHD.
You would think that.
I mean, years ago.
And speaking
30
of ADHD,
years ago.
That's why I messed up at the start, because I got distracted with thoughts. That's why...
30 years ago, I was thinking, well, there's nothing left to talk about with
Right.
ADHD because there had been thousands of articles. I think Russ Barkley, in one of his talks, there's been like 10,000 articles written about ADHD. So you think there couldn't possibly be anything new to say. And we talk about ADHD quite often here.
Right.
It's probably the most common disorder of childhood. So we talk about it often here, and yet this article pops up the other day, and I thought, wow, this is really good information that we got to get to our parents.
Right. Well, and it goes right along with our parenting course that we have on our other YouTube channel, that the Paideia YouTube channel, and we have a link to it in this YouTube video if you're watching this on YouTube.
Right.
But it's a Parenting Your ADHD course, and we kind of go through what ADHD is and some different strategies. But yeah, this guy is Dr. Joel Young,
Right.
and he talks about 5 ways to be a better parent to your child with ADHD.
Yeah.
And he does mention some really important things that I think that we should share with everybody that listens.
I agree, because parents who are struggling... I was talking to a colleague the other day whose child has ADHD, and she's in fact, she was going to pick him up because he wasn't allowed to go to after school that day. And it's a recurring problem, and parents are always asking for ways of being more effective when you're trying to parent a child with ADHD. It is a daily challenge.
Oh, it is. Oh,
and so I think these 5 things are 5 little nuggets that you can take with you that will make your parenting job a little bit easier. It gives you another set of tools to use.
Right. And the first thing is you've got to know your kid.
Right.
You've got to know what they can do and what they can't do. And I think that this is something that I probably talk to parents about the most often. Because parents will come in and they'll think, well, he should be able to do this, he should be able to do that. And you have to point out that the operative word there is should. They should be able to, but they might not be able to.
Right.
You can have a gifted child. You can have a kid with 150 IQ, but they may not know how to study.
That's right.
Studying is a very specific skill that isn't necessarily tied just to intelligence.
That's right.
And so you can have the ability, you can have the potential, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have the skill. So you really need to know what they can do and what they can't do.
That's right. I was talking to a parent the other day, and that was exactly our discussion, that I said, your child has the ability, but until he got to high school, he never really had to study.
Right.
So he never learned how to study.
Right.
Now that he's in high school and he's taking calculus and advanced sciences, now suddenly he's being challenged, but he doesn't have the skills to master the material because he never, in elementary and middle school, he never had to study.
Right.
Normally kids encounter that in college.
Right.
They didn't have to study in high school very much.
Yeah.
They get to
That
college
happens a
and it's
lot.
overwhelming and the wheels come off.
Yep.
Now it's happening in high school because we're pushing kids a little bit faster.
Right. So know your child, especially your child with ADHD. Know what they can control, know what they can't control. If they can't control themselves in certain settings, don't enter those settings with the expectation that they're going to control themselves.
If they can't handle the grocery store, stay out of the grocery store. I mean, and there are kids who can't. So you have to know what,
or at least go into it knowing that it's going to be a rough time, so that you're not frustrated, and you can work to control it as much as you can.
The other is knowing their rhythms.
What time of day?
Time of day. My daughter, when she's ready for bed, boy, get out of the way because it's time. Because if you keep her up, she's gonna struggle. Right.
Yeah. So the second thing is do things that set your child up for success.
Right.
So often we set them up to fail. We talked about this weeks ago when we did the podcast about lying. Because it's so frustrating when parents tend to ask their child questions that they know their child's going to lie about. And then the parents get really upset when the child lies about it. And if you know that they're going to lie, don't set them up for failure. Don't set them up to lie because you know they're going to. And then you're going to zap them for lying and you're going to zap them for the thing that they lied about. And now they're getting double zapped when really all we need to do is get to the core of the problem. So set them up for success. Yeah. Number 3 is don't let ADHD become an insult or an excuse.
Right.
Now, this was something that he mentions in this article that is just is fantastic, because we do this all the time. We say, well, you know what, he can't help it, he has ADHD.
Right.
That begins as an excuse, but it turns into an insult.
Right.
Because then we say, well, you can't do that because you have ADHD.
Right.
Well, don't put limits on your kids, and don't make excuses for them, because they can still build the skills to do things that they need to do.
That's right. Because what you want is, okay, your child has ADHD, but the goal is normalization. You want the child to be functioning normally.
Right.
So everything you do has to be pushing that child toward normal. And if you keep using ADHD as an excuse, you're absolving him of the responsibility to become normal.
Right.
Okay. That's your goal, normal.
Right. Exactly.
So let's do everything we can to push that child into the normal category.
Exactly.
Don't insult him by saying you're handicapped in some way and you can't. Let's figure out a way to do it.
Exactly. Now, number 4 is right up our alley. Number 4 is know the difference between punishment and discipline. We've talked about that a lot, because for the most part, in most situations, there is little to no need for punishment. Punishment the way that we traditionally consider punishment. We don't need to harm our children either physically through spanking or something like that, or emotionally by yelling at them or berating them or doing things like that. You set up consequences, and you set up a discipline based structure in the home, but you don't have to punish.
No.
Especially if we go back to the first one, for things that they can't control.
No, and these kids, when I was talking to this parent the other day, I said, everybody agrees. Everybody who has a child with ADHD agrees. These kids are really nice.
Right.
I mean, they're lovable kids. They're nice kids. They're clumsy. They make mistakes. They forget. They do dumb things, but they're not mean. They're not nasty. They're not predatory. And you always feel bad when you've come down too hard on them for making a mistake, because they're just making mistakes, and we have to be gentle. Structured but gentle.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
but
all right.
Don't punish them.
Punishment is so harsh sometimes.
Gosh.
Now, the 5th thing is it kind of turns the table a little bit, and he talks about tending to your own emotional needs.
Right.
Most of the time, many times, if you have a child with ADHD, one of the parents likely has some of the characteristics or traits consistent with ADHD.
Sometimes both parents do.
Oftentimes, many of the times. So you have to tend to your own emotional needs, because you're going to be likely to get frustrated and to get overwhelmed and to get to struggle with if your child can't organize and structure his or her life, you're going to have to structure his or her life.
Right.
And if you're struggling to structure your own life and everything, it's going to be overwhelming.
That's right. No, again, as a parent, you need to know what your good time of day and bad time of day is, okay?
Right.
Don't start these arguments late at night,
right.
Just before everybody's ready to go to bed, because you're tired, you don't have a lot of inhibition, you're more likely to say something, you're more likely to get angry, highly aroused emotionally. So know yourself, and don't pick these battles at the wrong time.
Right.
And when you do pick them, do them at a quiet time. Not during dinner, not during that nuclear hour from 4 to 7, or when it's time to do homework or something.
Right. Yeah.
So pick your battles and make sure you know what your bad time of day is.
Right. Right. And take care of your health, like going for walks and doing things to relieve the stress that accumulates on yourself throughout the day.
And if you're having a bad day, that's exactly the time. Normally what we do when we have a bad day is say, by God, I'm going to deal with this once and for all. That's exactly the wrong time to deal with it. When you get that feeling, stop, back up, and say, not today.
Right.
I'll take care of my child tomorrow or the next day. When you feel yourself saying, by God, I'm going to take care of it today, probably not a good day to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right.
Stay tuned.
So just 5 easy little
Good
things
things,
just
yeah.
to think about. But they're critical. They're so important.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that's it.
Yeah, this will be posted so parents can look at it.
Yeah,
add it to their
I'll have
little
a
list of things.
I'll have a link in the show notes.
And this is gonna be put on my refrigerator. These 5 things are going on my refrigerator today.
Yeah. Well, good.
Just to remind everybody
Yeah.
who might be in the kitchen.
Who's in the kitchen at
Me.
your house? Oh, that's right.
Me.
You're the-
Never mind. Maybe I'll put it in the bathroom. Okay.
Everybody's in there.
No, yeah, these are 5 great things. I was really impressed.
You need to put it on the
with this.
TV.
Hey, there you go. Right.
Then everybody sees it.
Everybody will see it.
That's how it works at my house. So, all right. Thanks so much for listening.
Yeah.
Until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and forget to be afraid.